Hi Pisces, welcome to your mid-July 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here, just shuffling the cards. Well, I would think that a lot of Pisces people enjoy this time of year because Cancer is a fellow water sign, and in addition to that, Cancer is your 5th house, so that can be a lot of fun. That can feel very enlivening and make life more enjoyable. Although you do have, we all have Mars in Aries, but for you, that is in your 2nd house of earned income. So you might be actually working quite a bit right now. I don't know. I'm working with the Wild Unknown Tarot deck this month, or this, I keep saying month when I mean week. Oh man, and this is a deck where I love the cards, but boy, look at this. What a gruesome card, but it's cute and it's in a gruesome sort of way. So the heart of the matter is the Father of Wands, which is the King of Wands, and it connects to fire energy. I would like to say Leo, since Leo is royalty to me, so maybe you resonate with that, but the other fire signs are Aries and Sagittarius. And this is a card, obviously could be somebody that's a fire sign. The king can be the father, so probably shouldn't be leaning against my tripod like that. So I will say, if it is a father, there is this larger than life quality from the Father of Wands. And so if somebody has a father like this, maybe they're a prominent member of the community, famous, some kind of a star athlete, but they have some kind of prominent job. The child, whether it's a child or an adult child, may always be in awe of this person, but they might not have that kind of real connection with them one-on-one, because this person's image kind of takes over everything. And this is just something that is coming into my head, is not necessarily something you'll find in the interpretation in books, but that's something that I feel could be possible. And the reason I say this is because if you, let's say you're a heterosexual woman and you're interested in men, and every man you compare to your father, and you have this mythical attitude towards your father, that can lead you to feel this sense of disappointment if you feel like your father, that every man is not measuring up to what your father represented. And it's not fair to those men, because in the first place, you know, they're individuals, but also your father probably isn't everything that you thought he was. He probably had his own flaws, but it's almost like there's this mythical quality that you have taken in. And being a Pisces, this makes it even more a possibility, because you tend to idealize people, places, and things and build them up in a certain way. Now, this could certainly be a facet of yourself, and what I see with this card is the sense of self-empowerment and what that means to you at this juncture of your life. From where you're sitting, what that means to you. For some people, this can be a divorce, a breakup of a relationship that you really thought was going to be a keeper, And as a matter of fact, I'll just bring this up right now. The Tower card in the past position, that can indicate some kind of calamity, you know. But I'm saying calamity because of the suddenness of it, perhaps. And you might have said, I never saw this coming. And what I always say is that I don't believe that to be the case too much. I think that a lot of times people claim that they never saw it coming, but they really weren't paying attention. I'm going to bring up this card again. You see how in both of these cards they have lightning strikes. And I was just noting that in another reading, because I've been getting a lot of these wands, and with this deck that's how they depict it. And what I think is going on is that it's talking about a catalyst for stepping into your own power. With the Tower card, the eclipses can bring this about. And they can, let's see, where have the eclipses from the past few weeks, or I could say this summer, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, been? So we've had one in Cancer, solar. We've had 2 lunar eclipses, one in Sag and one in Capricorn. The one in Capricorn we just had. And that was in your 11th house. And of course this is going to depend on your exact details, but ostensibly in your 11th house. And then the one in Sag was the career sector. And that was a lunar eclipse. So that could have been something that, you know, perhaps there was for some Pisces people a loss of a job. But I would say even beyond a job, because that would be more of the 6th house, that you might be starting to question whether the profession that you're in is something that is dying out, that you need to kind of shift your direction, your focus, your energy, like into gaining more knowledge and expertise in some other direction, because it's kind of like showing itself to be fading out. You know, an example, I don't know how good this is, but I've heard that the travel industry is, I'm talking about like travel agencies, that's pretty much obsolete. I don't know if that's true, but if you were in that kind of line of work, even if there were just murmuring about some sort of like changes, that you would kind of like pick up on that and start to come up with something else. But then we have the higher message, which is the Mother of Wands, which is the Queen of Wands. And this can be a sense of being like, I think being confident in the face of all of this, even as your emotions are engaged. With the Father of Wands, this is a double masculine energy. So I picture somebody who is almost like invincible in terms of like whatever life can throw at them, they've got their own back. And they're not going to allow anything to throw them off their game. The Queen of Wands, though, is more of the emotions. It has the feminine energy, so it's like integrating the masculine and the feminine. The feminine is important. Some people want to choose one over the other, and that's just silly. That's why we have yin and yang. They're you know, compatible, or they're complementary for one another. That they're like synergistic, let's say. And so the mother or queen represents the water element, and wands equal fire. So water and fire can seem like they don't actually combine very well. But what they can symbolize is the intuitive, which is internal, and passive versus the external outward, the masculine. And kind of like the yin and yang symbol itself, the masculine and the feminine, with the Mother of Wands. So you don't have to choose one or the other. And maybe the Father of Wands is like you having the tendency, Pisces, to feel like if you're, I would say neither of these cards may feel like it really represents you. I don't know, unless you do have prominent fire in your chart and you are, even like a rising sign. If you have like Leo rising or Aries rising, you might be much more like the Father or the Mother of Wands. But just in general, this idea of being able to step into your power, do you have it? And if you do, can you only do that when you're very fired up, so to speak, pardon the pun, or very aggressive, angry? And when I say fired up, it can even mean like angry. And I was just discussing this recently, that people who have a hard time asserting themselves, sometimes they need to be pissed off about something in order to, demand their rights, if you will. And really, with the Queen of Wands, it's always being willing to show your emotions, your vulnerability, and at the same time go after what you want. I think that's actually the perfect combination. And yet, there is something to be said for the King of Wands, because I do feel that this is somebody who knows themselves. And they know what they're all about. They're not confused as to what they like, what their identity is all about, what their talents are, what their weaknesses are. They know what it is, and they still feel good about themselves. What crosses you is the World card. And so this is the last card of the Major Arcana. Let's see, how many Major Arcana did I get? I got 3. That's pretty good out of 6. So perhaps you're trying to, tie things up in your life, and you feel this sense of like there are still loose ends. I will say that in August, at the beginning of August actually, so we're almost there, let's face it, that there is going to, let me back up. As I record this, it's actually several weeks away, so. But anyway, there's going to be a full moon in Aquarius in early August, which happens to be your 12th house. And this is kind of like what I associate the World card with. It's the end of the cycle and the astrological wheel, the house that you rule, the 12th house. But what happens after that? Then the transits go to the first house. So then in September, early September, I think it's September 2nd, there's a full moon in Pisces, your sign. So going from the 12th house to the first house. So that could be a period in early August to early September when you're releasing a lot of things, either at the karmic level in the 12th house or the conscious level in the first. So just be prepared for that, because right now you may not feel that that is what you need to do, and maybe that's why the World card is in the challenge position, or the timing isn't right. You have so many things going on to be able to just kind of close a chapter fully. So it's just really for the future reference that I mention these things. What's coming in is the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. I did get this card, and then I guess I put it in the deck in the reverse way, but I do read reverse cards regardless. And the Ten of Pentacles, I'm just trying to see if this actually, yes, it does tilt. The Ten of Pentacles in the challenge position can be, in the reversed position, maybe that perhaps you have to get your ducks in a row before you can have the kind of affluence that you're really looking for. In other words, we have the World card in the challenge position, so I'm reading it like a reverse card. Now we have this reverse card. And you may be looking for this kind of financial gain, but you have to do the work first. And some of that work may be internal work. And as a matter of fact, what did I get as the outcome? The Death card. And there was a time, and I even was tempted in this reading to simply pick another card in addition to this, but I decided not to because there's nothing wrong with this card. This card is about transition. It doesn't mean necessarily physical death, but look at that. I mean, it gives me the willies and makes me laugh at the same time. And that's what I'm kind of referring to with this full moon in the 12th house, and even in the especially in the first house in early September, that you may need to go through these transits back to back to fully gain the information that full moons can bring to guide you to move forward. So even though these are times of great intuition and spiritual downloads, there can also be a regrouping process that you need to undertake, and then you will fully experience what the World card represents, which is like making peace with all of the stuff that has happened and then fully being able to move forward. Okay, that's what I have for you, Pisces. I hope that this resonated. If you'd like a private reading, the link to my online store is below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great week. Take care. Bye.